Good day, teachers. Today's lesson plan is on data handling for grade 5s, specific to bar graphs. We must make sure that we gauge the learner's prior knowledge of data handling so that we can help them to make the transition to use the bar graph and answer questions that they may be asked. Let's look at the characteristics that should be emphasized. These are skills that the learners should have at the end of this lesson. The learners must understand that a bar graph must have a heading. The heading must describe what the information in the bar graph tells them. The learners must also understand that they can have a bar graph that has one-to-one correspondence and a bar graph that has many-to-one correspondence. To illustrate the difference, use different types of bar graphs to show them the difference. The learners must also know that for many-to-one correspondence, the bar graph must have a key. Learners must also know that a bar graph has an x-axis and a y-axis. Both of them must be labeled, and we'll see that in the example. The learners must also understand that the y-axis must have a scale. Help them to understand how to pick the appropriate scale for whatever information is given. Let's look at an example. You'll notice that the bar graph already has a heading, which reads a bar graph showing the test scores for the learners in a grade 5 class. This heading clearly shows and explains the information which is contained within the bar graph. Help the learners to use their explaining skills when they're giving their bar graph a heading. We'll also see that this is a many-to-one correspondence bar graph, and therefore it has a key to indicate that under each learner, this is the test that we're referring to. And then we'll see here we have a table, data table. Help the learners to be able to extract information from the bar graph using the key and the appropriate scale on the y-axis so that they can be able to fill it in. For example, test 1, for John, we can see that using the color purple for test 1, he obtained the score of 60%. And give them more exercises from their workbook. They can even complete this exercise so that you can gauge that they understand what they need to understand from the lesson plan. Use more examples from the learner workbook for further practice.